is Trent with SoutheastPitReport.com here at Ground Zero today with Michael from Vampires Everywhere. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So you guys are on this tour with Chasing Safety and Sycamore. So how's that going so far?
It's going great. It's been a roller coaster ride. You know, our band's been dormant for the last 2 years, so a lot of diehard fans coming out and reappearing, and names getting back out there. So it's been fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw your name on your flyer because like you said, you guys been gone for a long time. So I guess going into details that you can talk about and just withholding the ones you can't, like what happened with that? Because you guys were on Central Media. Now this new album Ritual was released, on your own, self-release basically. So what went on with that, and what got you guys I guess kind of quiet for the past couple of years?
Not to not to throw a label under the bus.
Oh, yeah.
We just had difficulties with them and their vision of what the band was, and we just decided that it was time to part ways. And I started another project with my ex guitar player. I did it mainly for him, not for myself, and I wasn't happy. And I felt it was time to bring back the band. Actually, I felt for, and that was Vampires. But it took 2 years to figure that out. I got engaged during those 2 years.
Oh, congratulations.
No, that ended poorly.
Oh, I'm sorry. You sounded so hopeful. We got engaged.
No, that was part of the strive too, man. Once that all ended, I got back to myself and I knew what I wanted to do. So basically, that's why it kind of disappeared for a little while. So.
Okay. So what inspired this I guess second go around? Because everybody, those your diehards, people from back in the day, they remember you guys had the synthy auto tune, I guess quote unquote scene core emo whatever band, and even the name Vampires Everywhere, that was kind of coming out when Twilight was big, and so there's a lot of alludes. You guys got that a lot, and I read you guys got that from some other, I forgot,
the Lost Boys.
Lost Boys, and they had boys in the title. So so what, I guess, what inspired you guys to start, with that style, and then what changed over the past 2 years to make you guys want to go into this more, I guess, industrial, if you will, type sound that you guys have got going on right now?
Well, that's a great question. Mainly in the beginning, that wasn't our goal. Auto-tune wasn't even on our mind. When we got into the studio, our keyboard player couldn't sing. Literally couldn't sing. He said he could, but he couldn't.
Man.
So, I sang in past bands. I decided to do it, but we wanted to have, like a dancier sound, and at the time, a lot of the bands, like even the Skrillex coming up, Kanye West even, they had a little autotune flair to things that made it sound electronic.
Yeah.
That was our main goal on that record. We wanted everyone to kind of feel like it was a dancey vibe and it was fun, and that's kind of why it came out like that. As far as metalcore goes, we were coming up with Black Veil Brides, Attack Attack, and all those bands at that time, so it was kind of mainstream scene at that time to kind of to do that. I listened to it, so I did it. As we progressed, Hellbound and Heartless and stuff like that, we started to get a little more active rock. I got a lot angrier. I wanted nothing to do with the scene at the time. It wasn't someplace that I wanted to be. I didn't get it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It catered to 13-year-old girls, which was cool, and that was a time in my life. But I wanted to play big boy rock and eventually play arenas. That's the goal. So I started making more aggressive music and more music that I felt I believed in. And if we went from Hellbound to Ritual now, whereas Hellbound didn't have very many melodies, and this has all sorts of melodies going on. So it's just like the upward progression as an artist for myself.
Yeah. Some of the songs I heard, they kind of had the, I got some Manson vibes, some, a little bit of Motionless in White, who borrows from Manson at times. So, that whole dark theatrical type sound. So I guess the imagery and stuff, you guys have always had the, the dark, look and stuff. So I guess what's kept it going this time around when you're getting away from, I guess, the whole scene popular thing?
Well, it's kind of funny. This whole thing, this whole shtick, if you will, is not seen at all. It's very underground industrial goth. And when these scene bands started putting on the makeup, everyone got very confused because it was you're doing this and then you're doing that, which was cool to mix things. Do whatever you like, whatever you're proud of. But this is more of something that has been around way before then. Alice Cooper, Ozzy Osbourne. This is something that has been going on.
You guys just having to get lumped in that whole thing because that's what was going on when these guys have been doing it for years and years.
Yeah, I get lumped more into a Marilyn Manson sort of state of being rather than scene anymore. That kind of dissipated because I haven't played any kind of metalcore riffs since Hellbound. Since Kiss on Goodbye. So even the reviews we're getting, it's just Nine Inch Nails, Manson, Zombie, and to be honest with you, I'm flattered.
Yeah.
I hated the Manson thing for a while because I tried to be him, and now I'm me, and it's a good place to be.
Okay, so you guys put this out, without a label. You go on Spotify and look, it says Vampires Everywhere at the bottom, so it's self-release and all that. So what were the challenges doing this versus the freedom and all that, putting it out yourself? And do you kind of, I guess, miss I guess the big support a label could just drop and like, boom, everybody, like there I guess millions of consumers see it versus doing it yourself. You got to kind of like build it back up and all that.
There's a large difference between an independent record label and a major record label, and I think they get misconstrued in the lines of those sort of things. A major record label can drop the bomb and blow your band up by having such large resources and sinks in order to push you in the right categories. A lot of independent record labels don't really do that. So you kind of gotta weigh it out. We weighed it out. Doing it ourselves makes more sense. I've been doing this for 14 years. I already know everybody. I don't really need someone to give it to somebody in the PR. I already have my own.
Okay.
So I started a label called Dark Kingdom Records based upon those facts.
Okay.
I have a big announcement coming up too with our merger, but it makes more sense for us to self-release right now as we're starting to build back up the name. So.
Okay. So let's get into your new album, Ritual. So what are some topics covered in this album, and what are some lyrical content fans can expect to listen to and musically? You talked about the whole like Rob Zombie and stuff like that. So like, what are some other things that inspired you?
I mean, the whole record's about revenge. The whole album's about revenge. It's about my ex being done dirty. But as far as influences go, I mean, Nine Inch Nails was a big influence on this record for me. I recorded with Matt Good, who did, he's from First to Last, and he did drugs, and he also did the new Word Alive. Actually, a lot of the big scene stuff that's coming out, which is great.
Yeah.
And Matt has a great ear, but he's also has a dark thing about him from First to Last and working with Sonny. So it's kind of cool to incorporate both those worlds and kind of ride the line up through this. But I would say more Trent Reznor was my thing for this record, melody-wise too.
Okay. So looking to the future and stuff, building this band and the sound and everything, what are some things you guys are doing differently now that you weren't doing beforehand to get to get that active rock, pushed onto the radio or to start getting on like stadium tours and that kind of thing?
I mean, not being contrived is one. Feeding into the whole vampire thing got to my head a little bit. I went to the Factory on Warped Tour. I would literally drink blood. Yeah, I went to some distances. The whole culture I believe in heavily, and I'm into the occult, but I'm more into music now. I got amazing musicians. That was a big factor in the past vampire lineups. They were just shit players. At the time, that's what I thought you did. I grew up in the 2003 mentality. You have a garage band, you're all friends, and you meet each other, and we drink, and we get. That's not what it's about. It's about having great musicians and making quality music. The difference between now and then is the music's good. The image is better. I believe in what I'm doing, and the lyrics I'm writing are all truthful.
Okay.
There's no stick here, gimmick.
Yeah. So do you like regret your past releases, and are you playing any of those older songs on this tour for the older fans?
I don't regret anything. I mean, I love everything that I've ever released. Do I listen to it very much? No. Held On Heartless, I love 3 or 4 songs off that record. We do play them. I love to play them. Fans have been really excited about them.
Okay.
Other than that, it's all new material.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So after this tour, spring, festivals are coming up. So what are some festivals that you guys can talk about that you're playing, as well as the summer tours coming up?
Well, the great thing about getting back together after 2 years is the strife. Everyone expects you to pay your dues again. We've been paying our dues again. We went on a first headliner, and this is our second headliner, which became a B market headliner. But we're going on toward Filter in Orgy, which is going to be fun because it's kind of like a family values type of tour. Really stoked about that. We have a lot of more offers coming up. We got to pick the right tours for this band. We got to make sure that we're not getting lumped into situations where it doesn't suit who we are. Yeah. And that's the main concern right now.
So, with that being said, would you guys consider doing the Warped Tour or anything like that in the future, or was that kind of like off the table?
No, I mean, Kevin Lyman and Warped Tour are amazing. They've always been good to vampires. He was very into what vampires was doing. We are not on this year. I could definitely say if that's the question. We're not.
Well, it's just like you're talking about kind of like distancing yourself from that whole market and stuff, and doing some stuff, picking what you do. So, I was asking, in the future, is that kind of like something that you guys would kind of distance yourself from because I guess the stereotypical crowds that you find at Warped Tour.
I think more or less what's cool about Warped Tour is it's kind of a melting pot. It kind of brings all genres together. Yeah. Would Marilyn Manson play Warped Tour? Would Zombie play Warped Tour? I guess maybe they would now. I mean, back then, probably not. Yeah. Now it just seems like everything's shifting upwards musically, and you young people are just coming up and taking the spots of people that as they die off in popularity. But Warped Tour's always been good. And yeah, we'll play it. I'd love to play it in the future again. Why not?
So what's, I guess, a dream tour for you? Once you get to where you want to be, whatever that is, whether it's a headlining tour with bands that you've always respected, or whether you're like supporting, someone like Cooper or whatever. Like, what's, I guess, like a dream tour for you to play on?
Well, I mean, I'll just touch on the Cooper thing for real quick. Their guitar player had some choice words to say about us when we first came out. I remember hearing about that from Century Media. But yeah, that's not my dream for Alice Cooper. He's really cool though.
Yeah.
9 Inch Nails. I want to tour with him. I'm dying to tour with him. I'm a Bill Valve fan. I'm a crazy. Slipknot. I think that would make sense. Anything that is darker, that has melody. I mean, I would love to play with that. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, touring with 9 Inch Nails would be the bucket list for me.
Yeah.
The closest I've got so far is Filter, and that's a dream come true because most of my stuff, my influences come from Hey Man, Nice Shot. You know what I mean? Like, oh, come on. You know what I mean? Like, that's epic for me. 90s greatness. So.
All right. So I got some fun ones for you, then we'll wrap it up here.
Sure.
So I've been, well, this isn't really a fun question. It's kind of like something I've been asking bands on this tour, this year and stuff. I guess you can speak a lot to this, considering you guys are rebuilding back up and your past mistakes. So, finances kill a band. They run it to the ground, touring wise and spending wise. So, what are some things that, you guys do on tour, whether it be a headliner or support, that keeps you from going into debt? And what are some things that you guys, I guess, learned from on your first go around at this?
Okay, well, I mean, more or less, debt is inevitable, especially when, in our position, coming back to life. If you're a band that just consistently tours, I mean, you got to consider costs. I mean, the gas, the van, the hotels, if you choose to have them, the food. Unfortunately, it's like ice hockey, man. If you want to play ice hockey, you need to buy the gear, and you need to get into the leagues. It's the same thing here. Unfortunately, the only advice I can give for bands is do it right the first time, because it gets expensive trying to do it the second time.
Yeah. So, what are some things you guys do to not go in debt? Like, not to make sure, like, on this run now, what do you guys not spend on? Or how do you spend it on food? Do you guys kind of get a bunch of food and then ration it out, or you guys eat cheap fast food, like that kind of stuff?
No, we try to eat as healthy as possible. I mean, most of the venues supply catering, whether it's pizza or chips and salsa or whatever. I don't eat either. Chips and salsa, I'm guilty, but no pizza. No, for us, man, it's not a thing. I fund the project. It's I like living a certain way, and I like to take care of my band, so we're not suffering right now.
So your band is not one of those that breaks down every other week.
No, I mean, it's important to me. I've been doing this for a very long time. It's important to me that everyone's safe. And I was in a near fatal van accident.
Oh.
So that So things are important. We don't drive more than 2 hours at the end of the night.
Okay.
Our friends in Ghost Inside obviously had suffered that fate.
Yeah.
And I hope them well. But I mean, I can't do that. So more or less, man, for bands that are starting up. Yeah, accept the catering, eat the pizza, sleep in your van, do what you ever have to do, but I'm not doing that.
All right, I got a few more for you. This has become a trademark question of mine, and bands love it, so I'm excited to hear what you're going to say.
Sure.
If you could hang out with, date, marry, do whatever you want to with Taylor Swift, and she wrote a song about you, what would it be called, and what would it be about?
Well, I'd hope it'd be "I'd Love You Forever." It'd just be about our endless love. I mean, I'm in love with Taylor Swift. I love her.
Yeah.
Tall. I love models, so she's an easy sell for me. Yeah, for sure.
All right. So what's an awkward or unique fan interaction you've had in your career, whether it be signing something or a fan, I guess freaking out, meeting you or whatever?
I mean, the best thing that's ever happened to me, I was pretty mortified, but I got blood in the mail. I got a couple vials of blood. It was very interesting. It was kind of, I'll never forget it, and I always say it when I have the chance to say it, but I know whose it is now, and it was freaky. Let's just say. I don't even know how they allowed that, right?
Yeah,
how
for real.
It had to be covered, and however.
Yeah, somebody could have put some kind of, I guess, biological disease in there. And
anything.
Yeah.
It was a little coagulated, so.
Oh. All right. Was there anything else you want to say or talk about before we close it out?
No, I just want to say thank you to all my fans that have stuck with me, and I really hope you like the ritual. All
right, man. Well, looking to see what you guys are doing the rest of the year, and thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks, man.
All right. This is Trent with SallySpiritReport.com, hanging out with Michael from Vampires Everywhere.
We are the perfect life. I bet you think it's okay.